Welcome, my friends, to our overview of the PGMP content outline. For those of you who are keen on knowing what the syllabus entails, we're going to be going through it right now. So, without much ado, let's jump into the presentation. The PGMP means Program Management Professional, and this is a certification that a lot of PMPs are interested in, but very few actually get to finish it. Some embark on it, but few finish it due to the rigor involved in the process. Let's take a look at the agenda for today. We're going to talk about the outline at a high level. Then we're going to get into the domains, strategic program alignment, program lifecycle management, benefits management, stakeholder engagement, and governance. So, this document, the PGMP exam content outline, is published by the PMI, Project Management Institute. We're going to go through the percentages on the exam, the allocations of questions in each group. In the strategic program alignment domain, you've got 15% of the questions. Program lifecycle management, 44% of the questions. Benefits alignment, 11%. Stakeholder engagement, 16%. And governance, 14%. So program lifecycle management is the largest of all the domains. You combine all the others, and it's just a little bit over half. Let's talk about the knowledge specific to domain one. Domain one. So, taking a look at our slide here, you can see that the first domain is strategic program alignment. The knowledge that you need for strategic program alignment is understanding of business strategy, knowing what the organization's objectives are, economic forecasting, feasibility analysis, financial management, legal, regulatory, market and PR, program and project management, and strategic and system analysis. Let's take a look at the tasks in the strategic program alignment domain. Now, I'm not going to read these verbatim. Instead, I'm going to add more value to you by breaking it down into more pragmatic business language. So, task one is to perform an initial assessment of the program to understand what exactly it entails, the requirements, and the risks in order to align the program with the strategic objectives of the firm. Concepts here will include vision and mission statements. Task two is establishing a high level roadmap with milestones and preliminary estimates. Task three is defining a high level roadmap and a financial framework to set a baseline for program definition, planning, and execution. Task four, define the program mission. Evaluate the stakeholders' concerns and expectations. Task five, evaluate the program's business case, the why behind the program, so that you can develop, validate, and assess the objectives, priority, feasibility, readiness, and alignment with the organization's strategic plan. Task six, analyze the available information about the organizational and business strategies, internal, external influences, and program drivers so that you can quantify the benefits that program stakeholders expect to realize. We also socialize the idea of a benefits realization plan. How are we going to realize the benefits of this program? Task seven, estimate the high level financial framework and non financial benefits of the program. However, you want to do that on a scale, this is what is expected here because you do know programs offer benefits that are not just monetary. You can have a lot of benefits that are intangible. So, this is where you decide how to pin those down. Number eight, evaluate the program objectives relative to regulatory and legal constraints, if any, social impact, sustainability, cultural considerations, political climate, and ethical concerns. Now, bear in mind, while these exist on the exam, not every single program may have such concerns, but you do need to be aware of these for your exam. Okay. Number nine, obtain organizational leadership approval for the program by presenting the program charter with its high level cost, milestone, schedule, and benefits to receive authorization to initiate the program. In all honesty, a lot of firms sadly don't do this, but this is good practice and it makes sense to have a program charter of some sort. Number 10, identify and evaluate integration opportunities and needs. For example, human capital and human resource requirements and skill sets, facilities, finance, assets, processes, and systems. It all has to be integrated. And finally, number 11, exploit strategic opportunities to for change to maximize the realization of benefits. So the main goal here is maximize the benefits, enlarge them. Exploit is the word we used to use back in the PMP exam. So hopefully you understand the concept of exploit. It means 100% guaranteed that you will realize these opportunities that exist where they do. So strategic program alignment. This is higher level, big picture think, leadership oriented mindedness. But when we talk about strategic program alignment, we're aligning the program with the strategic objectives of the firm and trying to understand that big picture vision, mission, roadmap, and ethical posturing. Okay. So that is the very first domain, 15% of your PGMP exam. Let's go over to domain two, program lifecycle management. This is a beast. It's 44% of your exam. There is a lot of content here. In fact, there is so much content here that I would actually rather show you the details in the document itself because it's huge. So you need to be ready for this. This is going to go pretty deep into the content. The first one is manageable, which is why I could show you that. But in this one, we are going into a lorry load of tasks, and we have to do this quick. Okay, here we go. Let me share this with you. I'm going to change the screen, come out of this. So we're going into program lifecycle management now. Here we go. Yeah, there's a lot of tasks here. All right, let's go straight into the document proper. And I'll just go through them mega quick. Otherwise, we're going to be here all night. We got roughly 30 something tasks. So, task one, develop the program charter, right? Why? Puts everyone on the same page. It just makes sense. Task two, translate strategic objectives into high level program scope statements by negotiating with stakeholders. So, you got to see the big picture scope. You got to make sure there's a solid understanding of it. Task three, develop a program roadmap using the goals and objectives for the program. This just makes sense. Show the way at a high level, milestones, however you want to do it. Task four, develop a responsibility assignment matrix, a RAM, by identifying and assigning program roles and responsibilities. If you're on a program, you got to understand which project manager is under what so that you delineate who is responsible for each project and the resources. Number five, define standard measurement criteria, KPIs, whatever you're going to measure, do it. But in the real world, I often tell program managers the simpler the KPI is to understand, the better it will be for you. Don't make the KPIs unnecessarily complicated, see, and just make them apples to apples across the projects, right? It says key performance indicators, define those for success and review points for all constituent projects, analyzing stakeholder expectations and requirements, and the goal is to monitor and control the program. Number six, conduct a program kickoff. Number seven, develop a detailed program scope statement. Number eight, develop a program WBS. It just makes sense. Keep it high level. Don't go too crazy on it, but at least have your program WBS that shows how all the projects interweave. Number nine, establish the program management plan and schedule by integrating plans. This is a must do for any program manager that has a bunch of projects. There was one I was working on with 19 different projects. And what happens is when you roll all of these schedules into a master program schedule, it just helps the program manager. Number 10, optimize the program management plan by identifying, reviewing, and leveling resource requirements. For example, human resources, materials, equipment. And honestly, this is something that you cannot ask the AI to do for you. Definitely not at this point. It's not something that you should even attempt doing automated. You should look under the hood and ensure you understand the dynamics of resources in the firm. So you might need to do some leveling physically. Number 11, define project program management information system, the PMIS, that is going to be used, or PMISs. Number 12, identify and manage unresolved project level issues by establishing a monitoring and escalation mechanism. Number 13, develop the benefits management plan, including benefits integration, transition, and sustainment. It just makes sense because what you're doing is working on this for benefits and control. Remember, not available by managing the projects individually. So you want to understand what the composite benefits are and also how the benefits are going to roll out from one project to one project. And when you look at the whole, that's when you see the full benefit of the program. But the management of the benefits, it has to be decided upon. Number 14, develop key KPIs, key performance indicators, by using decomposition or mapping to manage the program and implement a scope quality management system within the program. Number 15, monitor human resources. Number 16, charter and initiate constituent projects. Every project should have a charter. Number 17, establish consistency by deploying governance framework. What is governance? The PMI often define it as authority, right? It's the framework within which authority is exercised. So for your program, there should be a framework so that the program manager and the project managers are on the same page regarding what is my authority, what is my jurisdiction, what am I accountable for, and what are the other project managers accountable for, what is the program manager accountable for. So these are just sensibilities on any program, right? Okay. So here we have establish a communication feedback plan and reporting process to capture lessons learned. Very important. This is something that you should do in your real world for sure. Lead human resource functions by training, coaching, mentoring, and recognizing the team. Now, for this, one of the best ways to do this is empower each team. Empower each team to identify needs, that only they can see. And then you, as the program manager, you have your things you identify that the team should be learning. And both are important. Number 20, review project manager's performance in executing the project per the project plan to maximize their contribution to achieving program goals. Number 21, execute the appropriate program management plans, for example, quality, risk, communications, resourcing, and so on. Number 22, consolidate project and program data using predefined program plan reporting tools and methods to monitor and control the program. Number 23, evaluate the program status to monitor and control the program while maintaining current program information. Number 24, approve closure of constituent projects, components upon completion of defined deliverables to ensure scope is compliant. Number 25, analyze variances in trends in cost, schedule, quality, risk, and so on. Number 26, update program plans by incorporating corrective actions to ensure program resources are employed effectively. Number 27, manage program level issues, HR, financial, technology, scheduling, by identifying and selecting a course of action. So, this is where you put on the decisive leader hat. As a program manager, I'm telling you, 90% of your job is leadership. So, this whole thing about program lifecycle, without great leadership, it will fall flat. So, this is very important here when we talk about program level issues and going with a course of action right here. Selecting a course of action consistent with project program constraints and objectives. The key thing is actually selecting it and being confident to do that. Number 28, manage changes per the change management plan to control scope, schedule, cost, quality, contracts, risk, and the regular suspects. Number 29, conduct impact assessments for program changes and recommended decisions. Number 30, manage risks per the risk management plan. Number 31, complete a program performance analysis report by comparing actual values to planned values for all of the areas: scope, quality, cost, schedule, resources, to determine program performance. Bear in mind, in the real world, a lot of other dimensions exist. So, health and safety dimensions exist, HSE, the environment, those metrics also exist. So, as you're getting ready for this exam, I want you to also remember the real world, that a lot of other dimensions could exist. Number 32, conduct program closure with the boundaries of the governance framework. Number 33, execute the transition and closeout of the program and all constituent projects. You might recall what I said in the beginning. Very few programs are going to close out quick. A number of programs are renewed year by year by year. Now, sometimes they're outrightly named Program XYZ Year 2025, but other times they're just named a consistent name, and all you're doing is reviewing as the years roll on. So please be aware that not every program may experience this up front. This could be many, many years down the road. But the key thing is to perform administrative closure, program closure, archive the program documents, and make sure everything is done as planned. Number 34, conduct the post review meetings by presenting the program performance report to obtain feedback and capture lessons learned. And number 35, the final one, report lessons learned and best practices observed and archive to the knowledge repository to support future programs and organizational improvement. So, my friends, we started off going through the first domain. Now we have gone rapidly through the second domain, which was almost five times, uh, or I should say, three times bigger than the very first one. We had 11 in the first one, then we had 33 in this next one. So, domain one, strategic program alignment. Now we've covered domain two, which is program lifecycle management, and by far the most unwieldy. Let's go to our next part, which is knowledge specific to domain two. So things like benchmarking, closeout plans, decomposition, financial closure, logistics management, performance and quality management, and all these other itemized bullet points before your exam. You got to ensure that you are comfortable with all that stuff. Okay? Okie doke. So we've done quite well considering we were faced with a wall of text in domain two. And now that we are done, we're going to move from domain two into domain three. All right. So getting into domain three, we have here not that many tasks. Let's see how many tasks we have. So we have 8 tasks. Okay. So task 1, develop the benefits realization plan and its measurement criteria to set the baseline. So that makes sense, doesn't it? Right? The baseline. Number 2, identify and capture synergies and efficiencies identified throughout the program lifecycle. So this is really one of an opportunity mindedness and benefit mindedness. Number three, develop a sustainment plan that identifies the processes, measures the metrics, so that when you transition whatever has been done to the client, there is a sustainment of the benefits, continued realization of intended benefits. So, whenever that transition happens. Number four, monitor the metrics. For example, by forecasting, analyzing variances, developing what if scenario analysis, you got to monitor the metrics and be ready to act. Number five, verify that close, transition, and integration of constituent project components and the program meet to exceed the benefit realization criteria. Number six, maintain benefits register and record program progress to report the benefit to stakeholders. Now, let me be honest with you. A lot of programs, they don't have a benefits register. They're not tracking the benefits. When they get done, they just walk away. But that's not the way to do it. The right way to do it, the PMI way, and when you eventually become a PgMP, is to sensitize the firm to these things by leading by doing. All right. Number seven, analyze and update the benefits realization and sustainment plans for uncertainty, risk identification, risk mitigation, and risk opportunity to determine if corrective actions are necessary and to communicate to stakeholders. Number eight, develop a transition plan. It just makes sense, right? So the transition plan is to hand this over to operations to guarantee the sustainment of products and benefits delivered by the program. Again, you got to understand the phase by phase nature of many of these. You start off a program, then you finish one or two projects, then you hand over, then you're continuing the program, then you get more done, then you hand over. So it's a cumulative effect on some programs, not all, but some are like that. The knowledge specific to this: benefits optimization, business value measurement, decision tree analysis, maintenance and sustainment of program benefits post delivery, performance and quality metrics, program transition strategies. All right, my friends, let us get into our final, not the final, almost the final. We're getting there. So this goes into one more after this, and that is the governance aspect. But stakeholder is very easy to understand. So let's take a look at them. Cursory overview. Number one, you got to identify anyone affected by the program, right? Identify the stakeholders. Number two, do a stakeholder analysis. Understand the people who could affect the project. You got to take a look at those who could be affected by the project or who the project could affect. And I should say program analysis, because there's a difference between the siloed look at stakeholders versus the overarching look at stakeholders. That should be happening at the program level. We're not looking at getting into the minutia for projects, but we're looking at doing this in a more macro way across programs. So negotiate the support of stakeholders, sponsors, steering committee, and so on. Set clear expectations and acceptance criteria regarding KPIs, generate and maintain visibility for the program, and confirm stakeholder support. Number five, define and maintain communications adapted to different stakeholders, including the sponsors and the steering committee and so on. And it just makes sense. Whatever you're doing in the PPP domain, program, project, portfolio, you should always tailor all manner of communication. Number six, evaluate risks identified by stakeholders, including sponsors and steering committee. Incorporate them into program risk management plan. And I've learned my lesson. I've been burned on previous encounters where a stakeholder said on a program, be aware of this. And due to our ignorance in this firm, we ended up paying a big price. We were not called back into the next year of the program because we made a blunder by not managing the risk the stakeholder identified. And stakeholder was really big on this risk. But the program manager kept batting it down, saying it's not that important, it's not that big a deal, we can manage it. But we couldn't. When the risk happened, it was curtains, it was bad. So that number six is very important. Number seven, develop and foster relationships with stakeholders, including sponsors, steering committee, to improve communications. And that takes intentionality, right? To develop those relationships. So here we're talking about relationship management with the customer, satisfaction measurement, expectation management, PR, training. Here's our final one, my friends. It's governance. And as I said in the beginning, governance is a framework within which authority is exercised. Governance helps people understand what can I do within my power, within my accountabilities, what can't I do? What am I accountable for, right? So in this domain, what you want to do is develop program and project management structure regarding governance, tools, finance, reportings, and you're going to use the best practices so that people on the program truly understand what is expected of them and understand the bounds of authority. Select a governance framework structure, including policies, that's very important, procedures, and standards that conforms program practices with the organization's governance structure. Number three, obtain authorizations and approvals through stage gate reviews by presenting the program status to governance authorities. Now, when we say governance authorities, it could sound like a lofty term, but this is a body of individuals. Some might be outside the firm, some might be within the firm, it might be a cross pollination of both, but you got to obtain those authorizations and approvals. Number four, evaluate key performance indicators, KPIs, risk, financials, compliance, quality, safety. Now we're reporting these in an aggregate way. These are coming from the projects, they're coming all the way up into the program level. And however the decision has been made to communicate these, you do that. Number five, develop and or utilize program management information systems. Why wouldn't you? In this day and age, you should, right? Number six, regularly evaluate new and existing risks that impact strategic objectives to present an updated risk management plan to the governance board. So you need to be thinking about macro risks, either those that affect huge arms of the program or might affect one part of the program that is extremely sensitive. So, when you take a look at these risks, you should also do a sensitivity analysis. Number seven, establish escalation policies and procedures to ensure risks are handled at the appropriate level. Number eight, develop and or contribute to an information repository containing program related lessons learned. Number nine, identify and apply lessons learned to support and influence existing and future programs. Number 10, monitor the business environment, program functionality requirements, benefits realization to ensure the program remains aligned with strategic objectives. And number 11, develop and support the program integration management plan to ensure operational alignment with program strategic objectives. I have to be pretty honest with you, as a practicing program manager that's had experience in various industries in the world of divestitures and in the world of information technology, in the world of engineering, in the world of defense and space. I'll tell you this: program management differs, varies, organization by organization, project by project. Some projects, it's a loosey goosey governance, and other projects, it's more rigorous, more streamlined. So, on this exam, you need to put yourself in the hot seat of a program that is uber technical in terms of following the processes and procedures, knowing the tools of the trade, following the path. Like the program lifecycle management piece with 33, you need to be all over those terms. Okay. So, my suggestion to you is, if you haven't mastered the lingo and the sensibilities of PMI's presentation of program management, if a lot of what I'm saying here is like Greek, it's probably time for a step back and a rethink about being ready for this exam, because I don't want you to go blow money on this exam. It costs money more than the PMP, a lot more than the PMP, and it costs your time. You got to study like relentlessly and you got to get good. And that's why there are not too many PGMPs in the world. Okay. Now, as far as the value that the certification brings, it's really perceptual and it depends. Because, like I said, in some firms, you can study all of this till the cows come home, but ain't any of it being used. What is being used could be a very different palette, a totally different mix. So I could say a lopsided mix of one domain over another. Some programs thrive more on relationships than anything else. I've seen a lot of them in these nonprofits. They thrive based on collaboration and interrelationships, not tools and techniques. So it's more leadership. But for this exam, it's everything. It's leadership, it's governance, it's the program lifecycle components, it's everything. Okay? All right. Let's close this out now that you've gotten a good idea. We got knowledge specific to domain 5, archiving tools and techniques, business and organization objectives, closeout plans, go no go, financials, stage gates, and all these other things you can see. Okay? And then they focus core knowledge required in 3 or more domains: benefits management, brainstorming, budget, business environment, business ethics, change management, coaching, and mentoring. And there's so many of them, which I am not going to read all, right? Core skills required in all domains: active listening and analytical thinking. When you take a look at the cross section, what you're going to find is this is more executive think. This is more leadership oriented as opposed to project oriented. Okay. Well, there you have it, my friends. Over the past number of minutes, we were covering the PGMP Program Management Professional exam content outline. There's a lot of stuff here, to be honest, that is, in my mind, very subliminal. You're going to have to dig deep and really spend time listening to this again to ensure that you understand the flow of ideas and what PMI is really trying to say, why they're trying to say it. Program management is a different beast, very different from project management. Related, but it needs a different kind of muscle. And that's a big picture visionary view compared to PMP. It's one that is able to collaborate with project managers working with them, with leadership where the portfolios are crafted and the directions are coming from on high. So you're still in the middle, maybe just higher up, but then you have the project managers that are reporting into you. So it's a lot of responsibility. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown, my friends. I hope it made sense to you. If it did, smash the like button. And remember, many more videos about the program manager interview. Very soon, we're going to be starting our program on program leadership. This is for those people who are PMPs, but they want to get to the next level in program management. And maybe you're not able to take the PGMP because it's price prohibitive, but you can attend our section of lectures that will equip you with the knowledge and tools and skills for you to operate in either the world of agile, hybrid, or predictive program management. Okay, so if you're interested in the program leadership track, drop us a comment below, send an email, just let us know so that we keep you in the loop for when these lectures are going to happen. And you'll be able to get the certificate that shows you are a program leader, because leadership is everything, right? The tools are great. But again, not everyone can afford to take this exam. So if you're keen on taking another exam that focuses more on program leadership, let me know. Send an email to support@praizion, especially those of you PMPs. We have requirements for this program. We want people who have gone through project management, and are now getting into the world of program management. If you have a program to hand, or you have that inkling that it's going to be coming down the pike, you're a good candidate for this. Okay. But if you have the funds and you're working on the PGMP, I wish you all the very best. You take care, and bye for now.